I'd like to greet you all, and it's great to be back today again. It's always exciting to be here and share all the things that I share with you. And I'm grateful to be alive today, that God has given me this day. I'm grateful to be able to do what I love to do, and that I've decided to live my best life, that I've decided not to feel sorry for myself. And I hope that you're feeling the same wherever you are, and that you're excited, to see yourself becoming a better person and becoming the best version of yourself. And that you don't want to sit feeling sorry for yourself. You may have failed, you may have disappointed yourself, you may have not accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. You may have been disappointed by someone, you know, but that does not mean it's the end of the world. You can still get up, you can still become whatever it is you could not be, whatever it is you could not do, you can still do. I hope that you understand that you can't sit in a box, you can't be confined in one sport and feel limited, because there's so much you can do out there. There's so much time that you still have. The fact that you're still alive, you're given a chance to continue living. It means that you're given a chance to still do better, or to do better, and to achieve whatever it is you've always wanted to achieve. I want to say that it's not the end of the world. Whatever time you've lost, the fact that you're alive today, be grateful, and also look forward to doing and becoming, so that you make yourself proud. And I hope that you are not afraid to get out there, and you are not afraid to discover who you are, the person that you were created to be. You need to discover that person. You need to let that person come out and live this life to your fullest, so that one day when you look back, you are proud and you don't have any regrets, and you know for sure you've lived your best life and you did what you could. Of course, we are not going to achieve everything, we are not going to do everything, but at least what we can do, let us do with our best strength. Whatever it is we have to put in, we put in, not allowing anything to stand in the way. And I hope you're excited to challenge yourself. The best, I think, out of everything is to challenge yourself, making yourself come out of your shell, and bringing out that best you that may still be hidden somewhere. Whatever it is that has happened to, let that you sit in a corner. I hope that you are allowing that you to come out a little by little. Of course, you're not going to achieve all those things overnight. It takes practice, it takes commitment, and it takes understanding that nothing is easy in this life. So don't feel frustrated when things are not happening as quickly as you would want them to happen, when changes are not happening as quickly as you would want them to happen. Nothing comes easy in this life. It takes a lot of hard work, determination, not allowing anyone or anything tell you who you are and what you can and what you cannot do. The only way to find out what you can do is by doing and by trying and by getting out there and seeing what is possible and what is not possible. It's better to fail trying than to not try at all. So I'm excited to be here today. I hope that as I say all of these things, I'm bringing up the excitement in you as well, so that you understand everything is possible and it's never too late. And the failures in the past, they mean nothing. They don't have to determine the kind of person you will be in the past. They in the future, they are all in the past, and they must stay in the past. You look forward to seeing the greatness that the future has in store for you, because there can only be the best that can come out of you. There can only be the best that you can be and can do, but you need to allow yourself to come out and challenge yourself that you are not going to give up. So today, we're back talking about decisions today. Decisions, something very, very important. Because as I've said all that I've said today, right now, it takes you deciding that you're going to become, that you're going to do, that you're going to make, you're going to design, you're going to start, you're going to move. You need to decide for you to start doing, for you to start planning, for you to start going out and trying out things. It takes you sitting down and deciding, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to get the best out of this life. I'm going to get the best out of this thing. I'm going to let myself come out. I'm going to let myself discover new things about myself. Who am I really? Why was I brought into this world? You're not going to sit and accept what this world is telling you about you. You're going to find out. You're going to be curious. You're going to be determined to do and to become and to get out of your comfort zone. It takes you deciding. What is the meaning of decisions? What is the meaning of decisions? It says that it's a conclusion. It is a conclusion reached. It is a conclusion reached after consideration. After considering something, after considering someone, you reach somewhere. And that point you reach a point where you need to decide. You are now ready to make a move because you've considered why you need to do this. You've considered why you need to move, why you need to take the first step, why you need to change, why you need to start working on things. It's a consideration. Once you reach that conclusion, you are now deciding. You are now deciding. And this is very important. Why? Because decisions, they determine who we become. They determine who we become and our decisions in life. Something very important that I want all of us to get and understand. Our decisions, they define us. Once I decide to do this, whether it goes here or there, it takes my decision. I've decided to start. The fact that I've decided to start, something must be done. Something must be done. So for you to start, for you to make a move, for you to do, for you to become, for you to be somewhere, you need to decide. That's what we're talking about today. So if you don't understand this, you will make a mess. You will destroy something. Sometimes because you've decided to do things differently, the wrong way. You've decided too late. Remember last week we spoke about procrastinating. So you've decided too late. And because of your decision, it cost you this and it cost you that. So we need to understand our decisions. They can either break or make us. They can either bring change or cost us something very important. So it is very important then to be very, very careful before we take or make that decision about anything in life. Nothing is too small because you look at it, you think it's something small. But the small thing that you decide upon carelessly can come and ruin your entire life. When you don't sit down carefully and go through what you are about to decide upon, step by step, looking at it and taking that decision carefully, having considered everything that is at stake, understanding some things are out of our control, of course, because God is in charge of our lives. But there are things that are in our own control. There are things that will work because of our decisions. There are things that will not work because we have not taken the right decisions, or we've taken the decisions a little bit too late. So today we want to look at the importance of decisions in our lives because they define us. The mistakes we make, they define us, because when you sit tomorrow and you're frustrated, you regret, you're miserable, it's because of that decision. Now it takes over your tomorrow. Your tomorrow is already ruined because of that decision you took carelessly. So that is why we need to sit down and go through everything carefully so that we don't sit with disappointments tomorrow. And it does not mean when you've made that mistake, because you decided wrong, you cannot change things. You cannot shift things. You cannot make a different turn, a U-turn. You can always make a U-turn, but you need to understand what went wrong, what you did wrong, and so that when you make the U-turn, you don't make the same mistake. You decide to change so that change brings you change. Change brings you joy. Change brings you satisfaction. Change brings you accomplishment or achievements and peace. So that's why it's important then to decide, and decide wisely when you have to decide. Like I said, it is a conclusion reached after consideration. So after considering what is at stake, should I make a mess here and take the wrong decision? This is what is at stake. This is what can happen. This is what can break. This is what can come out of this. You consider what is at stake before you reach that conclusion and take your decision. So sometimes we don't do this. We just take a decision without considering what is at stake. And we just move because we are expected to move. We are expected to do. We are expected to become. We are expected to appear and arrive. But sometimes, is that really what we need to be doing? Is that really who we need to be? We need to understand why we do things before we decide to do things. Why we take part in certain things before we take part in certain things. What is at stake before we take decisions? This is what we need to understand. And whatever you are determined to do, whatever you are determined to become, whatever you are determined to make, it starts with you making the decision that I'm going to do, I'm going to become, I'm going to make, and I'm going to let it happen. I'm going to invite this person in my life. And when you do that, have you considered all that you need to consider so that when you go out, you give it your all, understanding what is at stake. Sometimes it's all about deciding about the people we bring into our lives who come and affect us in a very, very big way, whether negative or positive. That is why before we decide to let certain people in our space, we must consider the consequences. We must consider what they're bringing, what they could be taking if they are not bringing anything, so that we don't expose ourselves carelessly. We don't expose ourselves to danger. We don't expose ourselves to misery and harm. So we need to be careful who we invite into our space, who we invite into our lives, and what we invite into our lives. So I want to challenge you today and ask you this question. What have you decided to do? What have you decided to do? Carefully thought about it. What have you decided to do? Who have you decided to be? Who have you decided to be in this world? We are all living in this world, and we have to live and be alive in this world. We have to be productive. We have to be, not just exist. We have to do. We have to make, and we have to be around people. And as you do that and you go out, you're surrounded by people, surrounded by things. As you go out, who have you decided to be? What have you decided to do? What have you decided to be known for? What have you decided to be remembered for? We are not going to live forever in this world. We are not going to live forever in this world. And we are not called to live lives that are meaningless. There's no life that is meant to be meaningless. We need to be intentional in making sure that we live meaningful lives, lives that will even speak when we are gone, lives that will impact people positively, lives that will not cause harm in other people. So, what have you decided to be? Who have you decided to listen to? Who have you decided to follow? Who have you decided to walk with in this world? I've decided to walk this life with Jesus. I've decided to follow Jesus. I've decided to be the best version of myself. I've decided to be happy. I've decided to be. So it's a lot that we need to really, really consider and understand when we take decisions so that we do not disappoint ourselves, so that we are not frustrated at the end of the day because of our own decisions, so that we make ourselves proud. So we need to be careful who we follow. I said I've decided to follow Jesus because when I follow Jesus, he guides me and he gives me my identity. And as I get that, I am able to decide to follow wherever I'm led to go and become the best version of myself and become joyful and understand the freedom I have been given by Jesus Christ, the Lord, who saved me. So I'm given freedom to make these decisions, but not to live my life. So I want to challenge you today as you go through your decision-making process. Be very careful and consider everything that is at stake and understand that your future is at stake, your life is at stake. Be careful how you make these decisions. As much as you're given this freedom, as much as we're given this freedom, we cannot live life carelessly and end up ruining our lives, ruining our future, and blaming it on other people. Let us be wise, let us be careful. Decisions are very important. The decisions you make today will determine how your tomorrow will look like. The decisions you make today will determine how your future will look like, how your career will look like, what kind of a person you will become, and you will be remembered as one day. You want to leave a legacy. What is that you've decided to live one day? What is that you've decided to become and do now while you're still alive so that it still continues to speak when you are gone? It starts with you making that decision today. So be very careful. Decisions are important. They shape our lives. They ruin our lives. They can do better. They can do bad. It's up to us and how we handle them when we have to make those. So it's been great. I'll see you again next week. I look forward to seeing you next week again. Have go